Jonesy.
Hey, Cam.
How are you,
What's up?
mate?
Good, bro. Nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you.
Yeah, it's good.
It's a beautiful day. It literally feels like summer.
It does. I wore a big, heavy winter coat and was sweating like a cunt.
So how's the comedy club going, Jonesy? For anyone who's listening, Jonesy is the owner of the Fear City Comedy Club. It's a cracking place, great club. Check it out when you're in New York City.
Yeah, it's. I'm very happy with it. You know, it was a lengthy process, just finding the actual physical space. And it's funny because I live 200 feet up from the club. The club is at 17 Essex, which is between Hester and Canal. I live right above the old man hustle, the original old man hustle. And I think I spent 14 months looking for a space and just condensing the dream. You know, I had these lofty ideas of, you know, I'll have a space here, and this will be the performance space, this will be the bar. You know, I'll have bartenders and staff, and just the numbers were just, you know, out of control. Rent for those kind of spaces is out of control. So it was just a matter of getting a little bit more realistic with the budget and shrinking or condensing, I would say, the idea of what it was. And I think this is a great space. It was a former boxing gym. So it's, you know, low ceilings, tight. It's only 10 by 42, you know, it's a tight little room, 60 seats. And yeah, it has that workout room feel, which I'm hoping that you know, the word is going to spread, and we're going to get, you know, Judah Friedlander comes around quite a lot. He's the sweetest guy. Comes and does mics, and he's done a couple shows. It's a perfect location. You know, between two trains, right by the East Broadway F. You got the park across the street, bunch of bars and restaurants all around. We're right next to Clockwork.
Wow.
Probably know Clockwork Bar. Yeah.
So how long did it take you to actually find a place to
I'd
build?
say 14 months. About.
Holy
Yeah,
hell.
that was just looking around. You know, East Village, Lower East Side, Chinatown, Two Bridges, all the adjacent areas around. And I'm just so glad that I found this, and it was in great shape. A lot of these places I looked at were like dilapidated dungeons, you know, and you got to wonder if people just let their space go to shit, do you really want to be signing a lease with these people? But this was good. This feels good. It was a pretty easy build out, you know, just putting a little stage in, let's say like a 7-inch riser and a little bar, a little dry bar, because we don't sell booze. It's just non-alcoholic, because that shit is crazy. To get a liquor license and be compliant, it's insane. It's insane, yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, you can always do it on the next club.
Exactly. You know, you got to start small, and then you know, if I don't die of old age, then maybe I'll, you know, open another club.
What made you even want to open a club in the first place?
I think it was, you know, being in stand-up comedy, and then I had a long break. I had a 6-year break from like 2015 to whatever it was, 2021, and I actually quit on stage. I was unemployed. I had $0 in the bank. I was living with a girl in Astoria who was very sweet. Kind of was, you know, carrying me for a while. And just super depressed. I mean, just in a bad, dark place, and just floundering in life, basically. And then just got back into it. You know, started bartending, building up capital. And then, you know, friends would come at me like, bro, you should open your own place. You should open it. And I always envisioned when they said you should open your own place, I always thought they meant like a little nightclub. And I just, from working in nightclubs, I know dealing with just difficult people, you know, brats, basically, drunk brats that are breaking shit and don't want to take accountability for anything. I'm allergic to brats. I'm allergic to entitled brats.
Yeah.
So I think that was the big hurdle. And then I got to thinking, well, you know, I love comedy, and comedy is a little bit more of a, you know, low, well, how should we say, low impact in terms of destruction. And if I have no alcohol at the club, the shows are an hour long. How much damage are they going to do?
Yeah.
So that then I started, I think it was Thanksgiving of 2022, that I said to some friends, we were all in Miami sitting around like, let's share something. What big plans do you have? So I said, for the first time, I said it out loud. I think I want to open a comedy club. And everyone was like, yeah, you go, Jonesy, you do it. We believe in you. Yeah, you could totally do that. So it was fun to hear that. And then just making it a reality. It was daunting and scary, and you're dealing with landlords, and you're trying to act like you know what the fuck you're doing. And I got a lot of help from my friend Aaron, who owns Williamsburg Pizza. Mm-hmm. He's got the Williamsburg Pizza Emporium. He's got a whole bunch, and he just told me how to act with landlords, the lingo, just act like you're not like a fucking noob.
Yeah, and a little bit of fake it till you make it.
A little bit, yeah. I don't really subscribe to the fake it till you make it in general, but in those kind of situations, you got to kind of like...
You do.
You don't want to get taken advantage of. You don't want to seem like,
Yeah.
like you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, 100%.
So, a little bit of that. The build out was easy. It was in the colors of the Lakers or the Vikings. I don't know what this guy was into. But yeah, yellow, purple, white, lots of holes in the ceilings from the heavy bags. So it was just, a lot of spackling, painting, but pretty easy, putting lights, putting speakers in, and boom. I have my friend Jonathan Vergara, who's done sound for The Cellar. He's done sound for Caroline's. He has his own studio. He's a producer, so he's very knowledgeable. So
and
that was great.
So he sort of pointed you in the direction of what equipment to buy.
Yeah, exactly. All that good stuff.
And that there's a fair bit of money in equipment in itself, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. I mean, we didn't go like super high end, but we went with, in proportion to what the space is, which is nice in terms of lights and speakers. You don't need to go crazy. You're sitting essentially maximum 3 feet away from the speaker. It doesn't need to be this enormous beast. It's just we went with 8 small monitors, medium-sized monitors, and 2 12-inch subs, which when the subs arrived, like, how the fuck are we gonna fit these in the space? Yeah. They looked enormous, and then but no, it works really well. We've dialed in the sound, tweaking it, and it's like right before it starts to sound like phased, so it's tight. There's no muffled, boomy. It's just it's great.
And there's options to, if people want to record, can they plug into the house sound?
Yep, they can. That's what the Comedy Kills guys do. Joe and Harrison. Yeah. They have Mike Minari come through, and he says, he's like, I love doing it at this club. I can do it with my eyes closed. Everything's just
he's a pro.
Easy. Oh yeah,
Mike's fantastic.
He is great.
Yeah.
You see it in his eyes. The first time I met him, I'm like, this guy fucking gets it. You can just gauge somebody's IQ by just looking at their eyes. Like, this guy fucking gets it.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and that's very reassuring. It's very calming. Just have a pro in the room. Like, I just let him in. I go home and eat dinner, and I come back and it's all set up.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
So then you went through the renovations, you got through the end, and then when was the opening date? When was it officially?
Well, officially, is this my headphone volume?
Yeah,
the left one.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna turn that down a little bit.
Yeah.
So I was I was running weekly mics every Monday at the club, just to kind of like get a feel, dial it in. How just having people in the room, how does it move? Is it too crowded with the chairs? Because it's 60 seats, but it's...
Where did you get those seats from?
Facebook Marketplace.
Ah, they're beautiful.
Yeah.
Are they from like an old hotel or something?
They're from a banquet hall.
Ah, yeah, okay.
So very comfortable. They got to get a little give.
Yeah. The back. They are very comfortable.
Because I was looking at fold-out chairs. They were more expensive than these used banquet. The gently used. When the lights are down, you don't really see the stains. No. No. What were you asking, Cam?
When you like officially opened.
Oh, so yeah, we running mics and stuff through the summer, and then I officially opened the last day of July, so July 30th. And that was a soft opening, and I invited a bunch of, fairly established comics, and we got TJ Miller.
Nice.
I didn't book him. It was this booker that I had for a week that I had to get rid of. he shall remain nameless, and his behavior shall remain unspoken of. But yeah, he wasn't very well behaved. I mean, he's a special character. But that was a one and done for Mr. Miller. But other than that, it was a fun show. It was good. I remember having the AC wasn't quite cold enough that night, so people were fanning themselves like whores in church. But now I've done. It's so dialed in. You go in now and you don't even think about the air. It's just perfect. It's quiet. All focus on the stage. It's just a black box. That's what I wanted. A kill box experience. There's no staff. It's just me. I'm the bouncer, the cashier, the DJ, the light guy, the sound guy, the janitor. I do it all.
Wow.
So I have a little, I sit up in my booth and I have a little spy mirror. So I see anyone coming in through the door. I just slip down and meet them at the door because they're always late.
Yeah.
The show has started. Why are you late? I'm such a stickler for this is the way I was brought up.
Yeah, I mean, I did an open mic. I've only come to one of your open mics, and I came 10 minutes late, and I got time cut.
What?
Yeah,
by pure chaos.
Yeah, whoever it was, they cut my time, and I was like,
yeah,
damn, I was like, not even 5 minutes late. I didn't know if that was your rule, but I got inspired by them because they were like, if you're not 5 minutes late. Well, I get that from Phil Hartman. It's a Broadway thing, like if you're not 5 minutes late, you're 5 minutes. No, if you're not 5 minutes early, you're 5 minutes late. Yeah.
But I never cut people's time.
It's all
I've never done that. I like to berate people. I go into character and I just berate people from the stage as they come in. If I'm like up on stage hosting, but then I'm just like, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Because that's how I grew up. I grew up with mean adults.
Yeah.
That just like, you're late. And they make you never forget it. So then I just play into that character. But,
that's fair.
Yeah.
And so how are you enjoying it? I mean, you've completely 180'd your life. I mean, congratulations.
Yeah, dude.
You've pulled
it feels
a
amazing.
Massive rabbit out of a hat.
It feels amazing.
You've never done this before, and you've done it. I mean, well done.
What's helped with me in life is just having shitty jobs. Always construction or cleaning houses or dishwasher or pizza shops, waiting tables, bartending, all these things that So I have the customer service experience, right? And it's so easy in this room. There's no food, there's no drinks. It's just a fridge full of liquid death. It's like, yeah, you want, and then that's it. And then you sit over there. I don't have to remember orders or run around or drop checks or anything. It's so streamlined. And then I have a lot of experience just creating spaces, painting and spackling and all that. I've been doing that since I was in my early 20s, So that's just all. It just comes very natural to me, and just creating space and aesthetically, I remember doing dry runs, like pretending to be drunk, walking through the space. What would I bump into, and like what would be in the way? And it's all very, very streamlined.
Yeah.
I think I've had one person bang their head on a speaker, but it has a blue light, so if you're not, if you're paying attention, you'll see it.
Yeah.
But no, I'm very happy. The vision has become reality, and it's very satisfying. And now I wake up every day. There's no anxiety of like, fuck, I hate my life working for the man. Now it's like, I'm fucking working for me. And creating the space for, this place would be nothing without comedians, obviously, and the audience. But creating the space and making it fun for young comedians to, I know what it feels like to be, you go to open mics and you just feel jaded because nobody's listening, people leaving right after their sets, and I force people to sit in the front, and they have to stay the whole mic, and it makes sense. People at first they're like, this seems kind of strict, but then they get it, and then it's like, this is a much better experience.
Yeah, it is.
I make it silly, I make it fun, I play music, and just I create a nice vibe for people, I think.
Yeah, I think you have, man. I think you really have. The shows that I've been there have been fantastic. The room's tight, so I haven't done a show there yet, but I'm doing one next week. Yeah.
You're doing it with, is it Comedy Kills?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. They're doing so great.
They're doing great.
This is what I tell people when they want to book a show at the club. I'm like, don't buy ads. Nobody cares about fucking ads. We're not like a big established club that has that presence. We've been open since August 1st, basically. and just make silly reels. Make silly reels that are engaging on the internet. People are going to see you. People are going to see your character, your personality, what you're bringing to the club. You know, you can film promos in the club, outside the club, but you know, just that, make it a little unique. Like buying a fucking ad, you know, a sponsored ad on Instagram, boring. Nobody cares.
Yeah,
you just scroll by.
Yeah,
it's not engaging. It looks very, I don't know, is it boring? You know, it's dull.
No, I mean, I don't know if it, I mean, it could work for some people, but I agree. Yeah. Most people just skip over it. It's like irrelevant, you know,
right.
People aren't interested in things that aren't in their little stratosphere.
Right. And I get it. If you're an established club, like, you know, the Cellar or one of the other clubs that have an established presence, they've been on the scene for decades, then, of course, then they're like a household brand. But I'm still... You know, I still get people coming in like, oh, I've never been in there before, but I've heard so many, you know, people talking about it, and I'm like, that's fun to hear. So at least, you know, it's slowly, organically building.
Yeah, and it will. It'll continue to do so. There's no doubt. You've just got to keep going in life, don't you? Yeah. But congratulations, it's fantastic.
Bro. Yeah, it's really fun.
So what's the plans with it moving forward? If there's success in the future, would you open up another one, or are you happy to just leave it as for now? Where are you sitting in the whole? Do you want to sort of maybe step back a bit and do more comedy, or where are you? Where's your head at?
Yeah, good question. So now I only do comedy at the club. You know, I host most of the mics. Usually when people are doing shows, I don't assume that they want me to be a part of it. In the beginning, I would sort of just, as an MC, kind of welcome people to the club, tell them a little about the space, you know, no filming, you know, no vaping, all that shit. But now I just kind of leave it up to whoever's producing. Like if they ask me, hey, you want to do a few minutes up top? You know, sometimes I'll do it, or else I'll just sit up in the booth and get on the gob mic and just do a little quick intro and introduce them from there. And then we kind of that kind of gets the show going a little quicker. Yeah. Otherwise it's like me and then the host. It's sort of like a staggered slow start. So, and just out of respect for them and their little brand, or, you know, what they're trying to do, I don't want to sort of encroach and think that just because I own the joint, it doesn't mean I'm going to do a tight 20 up top. No, I'm not doing that, you know. So, it's just fun just sitting up there. I do the time and the light, and I just keep an eye, and I take notes about people. You know, I have, you know, my vision is for people to walk slowly from behind the curtains. They get the spotlight on them. I have a red spotlight. Bring them up to some walk-on music as they sort of play around with the crowd and slowly walk up to the stage, you know, grab the mic, kind of look around a little bit, have a little fun. But most people are so quick up to the stage. I had one.
Well, people get nervous.
They get nervous.
You know, it's,
you know, I don't fault them for that. They want, obviously they want to do a good job, but there's a resistance to just slow it down. Cool. And that applies to even when you're on the mic. Slow it down. Just slow it down. Because you'll get guys that rush through their sets, and then they're like, fuck, what else was I going to talk about? And they've got like 3 minutes left. It's like, well, you don't have to. I mean, if you run out of stuff to talk about, you can just be like, all right, that's for me. That's all for me. Thanks.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
The classic, like leaning up against the wall, 1 foot up, and like, what do you guys want to talk about? Shit is crazy. Am I right? It's like, bro, you're done.
Yeah. It takes a lot of skill to pull that off.
Yeah. We had, dude, amazing. Annabeth Mann. She used to do a Wednesday show, and she totally got it. She was so good at taking direction, following direction, and just, it was like telepathy. So she fucking gets it, and just walked slowly, was like getting into the audience, like high-fiving people, like climbing on them, and then
I'm gonna do that with Harrison and Joe's show.
Yeah, and I was like blasting Metallica.
Yeah, like, that's sick.
It was so great. And then, you know, up on the stage and kept it going, was like yes, and that was great.
Cool,
it was
man.
Fun to see.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have my moment.
Yeah. Just and because it's like, that's the funny thing is, I think when people get nervous and forget, it's like, no, this is your time.
Yeah.
The clock hasn't started until you start talking into the mic.
Ah.
You know, take all the fucking time you want.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like they think time starts when their name gets called, and they're nervously hanging out next to the stage. I'm like, no, get behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Let it be a surprise for the audience.
Yeah.
Let it be like, oh, I wonder who's next.
Yeah.
You know? And then, you know, the spotlight on their face, and they're coming out through the curtain like
It's kind of
Jack
like
Nicholson.
Yeah,
you know?
how they announce boxes, you know, they're in the moment, they're like dancing it.
Yeah.
Or not, you know.
Right? But just sort of owning
the space. Yeah.
So I think that's this takes time, especially for new comics. You know, a lot of these guys have only been doing it for a year or two. You know, they're so hungry for it. But experience, you know, it takes time to,
It does.
to, you know, get comfortable and find your style.
It takes time. You got to get on a lot of live shows.
Yeah.
With real audiences.
Yeah.
That's where that's where it starts to, I think, come around for people.
And that's what I'm trying to model, I guess, for these guys is like, this is a show. Get out of the open mic mindset. You know, you don't have to stand right next to the stage with your notebook looking all like,
Treat it more like a little show.
yeah. It's like, I know it's, you know, some people, maybe it's cringe. You know, there's like, oh, well, there's not that many people in the audience. Am I really gonna like, bro, just be free and fearless and just be ridiculous. Be silly. The sillier you are, the freer you're gonna feel, and just let your guard down. Let your inhibitions down. You know, if you can do it sober, that's even better.
Yeah.
I've been off the booze for a few years, and it's the best. It's
Really?
the best decision ever.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I just can't believe how like you've turned it around, man.
Yeah.
You know, you've gone from being like, I'm not sure what I'm doing in my life, and then you've just had this vision and you've pulled it through and you've done it, and now it's working. I mean,
I mean,
just congratulations.
Thanks,
it's really a big milestone in your life, I'm sure.
Dude.
And you're giving people opportunities. You know, you're giving a lot of people opportunities, and I don't know, mate. I think it's fantastic.
It feels great. And another part of the vision was like, I just want to do this on my own. I don't want to have partners. I don't want to have people that I have to negotiate with or compromise with. It's like maximum risk, total control.
Yeah.
That's so, you know, I'm such a fucking OCD, attention to detail shit. Like nobody could come close to what I'm trying to think. You know, we have to be like hardcore telepathy. It's very few people that I would be able to. This is the challenge. Like at some point I gotta delegate. You know, I gotta train somebody if I want to take off for a couple of days or something. Just like hand the reins over to somebody and be like, can I trust you to run the club like I do? So at some point I got to train somebody, and I'm gonna have to be. It's gonna be a challenge for both of us. For me to be gentle and understanding, and for this person to fucking follow direction to a T.
You'll find the right person. Yeah. There'll be some comic out there that would love to do it, I'm sure. Yeah, it'd be good. It'd also be good for you to be able to step away and have a little bit of time apart.
Yeah, to see the fam in Sweden, you know, and friends. You know, they'll send me pictures of the archipelago. I'll be like, fuck, that looks so delish.
Yeah. So you're from Sweden originally?
Yeah.
Okay. When did you come to the States?
2002.
Right.
Yeah, July of 2002.
Okay. What made the move?
I met a woman,
Ooh.
a lady.
Yes.
We met in Cambodia. I'd rented out my apartment, and I was just like backpacking around for a little bit. And we met in Phnom Penh in Cambodia. And it was like love at first sight on the street.
Wow.
Like, she's from Massachusetts, and she's American. And we hit it off straight away, like traveling together for a little bit. And then, you know, I was like, all right. I went back to Sweden. I was like, all right, I'm going to come over to, I was like sure she was the one, you know. So I came over to the States, and then we hung out for a bit. And we got married pretty quick. We got married this October 2002. Little rushed. I mean, I was a different person then, but very impulsive, very, like, romantic. What the fuck? Are you living in a rom-com? What are you doing? You got no plan? But that was the reason I moved over.
Wow.
For her. And, we were together, we got divorced 2006.
4 years?
Yeah. I mean, it was, in hindsight, we should have just been friends.
Okay.
She's a very sweet person. And, but you live and learn.
You don't know.
You never know. You
don't know.
You just go with it.
You have to. You have to.
Yeah, I wasn't being very realistic. There wasn't much of a plan, but
Yeah, but those plans are the best plans.
Mm-hmm.
You have to sometimes just break away. You've got to sometimes do something bold and stupid. You have to do it at least once in your life.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to, but it's fun when you do.
No, you kind of, how else are you going to learn? You just do it. I mean, you can be careful and you can be planned. Like, my brother did it right. He's married still after 20 years. 2 kids. He's doing a great job.
Is he still in Sweden?
He lives in England.
Okay.
Yeah, he was born in England. Always lived in England. Doesn't really like to speak Swedish. He thinks it's a pain in the ass to speak Swedish. I speak Swedish with my mom and my dad, and I read Swedish books. I like to keep it alive. I like to keep it alive. Yeah, it's great to be bilingual.
Yeah,
really helpful in New York City to be able to speak Swedish.
Yeah, I bet it is.
Oh fuck, man! I wish if I could.
There must be a Swedish community here.
They're tiny, but they're very. I know a couple of Swedes, but everybody in New York, every Swede in New York wants to have their own little New York experience. They're not really that interested in having a Swedish community.
I understand. I feel the same way about Australians. Like, love Australians, of course, they're my people, but someone's like, do you have any Australian friends? And I said no, and I'm not really looking for any at the moment. I mean, if I end up getting some, great, but it's like I'm not going to do. Like someone said, oh, you should go to an Australian meetup group. And I was like, well, no, why?
Like
I've got a million Australian friends at home. I want to experience something different.
Yeah. It's weird. I feel like we have that in common. We're not the expat crew. We don't hang at pubs or have this whole desire to, I don't know.
No, I want to meet people that are in my life, that are in doing what I'm doing.
Exactly. That's the connection, like what we're passionate about. Not because we have the same background.
Exactly.
We come from the same place.
Yeah. And what was your life like growing up in Sweden? Did you have to do military service?
Yeah. I kind of wanted to do that.
Is it Switzerland and Sweden, they have to do military service?
Yeah.
Is it 1 year?
Yeah, it depends. It depends how you answer the psych questions.
Okay.
Like if they're stroking your ego, then they'll get you for 2 years.
Okay.
You answer that like, I'm the fucking cock of the roost. And,
cock of the roost.
But I was a squad leader, so I like more of a small. But it was. I mean, it's funny I was 20 at the time. Doing that when you're that age and you're learning you're essentially learning how to kill. But you don't get, because it's a neutral country, you don't really get to kill. So it's kind of like, it's a tease.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing to say. But when you're that age, and the way I grew up with a lot of sort of military influence, my whole family is like that's the background. You kind of want to kill. And it's kind of a tease.
Of course, it's like a football player, like training to play football his whole life and then never getting to play a game.
Right.
I mean, I get it.
Just sparring.
Sparring. Yeah, I get it.
Because we're using live ammunition the whole time, and we're next to each other, and it was very disciplined, very drilled. Nobody ever got injured or shot by mistake or anything, which happens in other countries.
Yeah,
that the discipline or the drilling isn't quite as top notch.
Did the Swedes go to like Afghanistan and Iraq, and did they help out?
Yeah, they had small contingencies that went over. They were very well respected. They were very well trained, because some of the French and Italians, maybe they're like, no, you can't come on patrol. Fuck off. You're not coming with us. We can't rely on you.
Mm-hmm.
But Swedes were very, very well respected, which is
of course
nothing to do with me. But I just thought that was kind of nice. That was a thing. That was a thing. God, I had a huge crush on that. We had one female lieutenant in she was always fucking with me, or was kind of like gentle roasts. I was like, what does this mean? She's a little bit older, and I was like, oh god, yeah, memories.
Yeah,
memories.
And then you came to Australia when? Oh, sorry, America.
Yeah, 2002, July
So 22.
2002.
How old were you then?
I was 32.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you you've kind of like, and then what jobs were you doing back in Sweden, like once you got out of the military?
The first job I got out on a Thursday, and Monday I started working as basically a lunch lady.
Ah.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. I mean, here's
That must have been a weird transition.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's sort of like a weird tale of nepotism gone wrong. Because my godfather, my dad's best friend, right? They've known each other since they were in the Navy. Even before that, he was like one of the top dogs at Ericsson, the phone company. Remember Ericsson?
Mm-hmm.
They made the little phones. And he said, yeah, I can get Jonesy a job at Ericsson. I was like, sweet. And I was like, okay, as a lunch lady in the staff cafeteria. I was like, this is so fucking depressing. And then I had a bit of an attitude because I was 21 at the time. And I got demoted to the dish pit. So I was working in the dish pit of the staff cafeteria. There was one lower level to that. That was the lady that washed the pots and pans, like in the basement. So it was we still had daylight.
Wow.
in the dish pit. And then what did I do after that? Then I think I went back to school. I went to trade school for carpentry and furniture design.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I worked as a daycare nurse for a little bit. Like you go home to old people's and just like wash them, give them meds, feed them, hang out with them.
What's that kind of work like?
It was nice because I remember the one lady, she must have been 90, blind as a bat, and she would just walk around naked in her apartment.
Yeah. And you didn't mind?
No.
I would find it really confronting. I would find it uncomfortable. But I guess you get used to it.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, I don't think she had any shame. And she would always want me to wash her back with cold water. She thought like warm water was a luxury. So she was like, just cold water. Wow. Yeah. And then I'd read to her because she was blind.
Wow.
And I think she liked my company, and then it became I was the only one that she would let into her apartment.
Wow.
She'd keep it locked up and be like, no, only him.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a weird time because I was 21 at the time. And I feel like I was maybe 22. Oh no, I worked at a publishing house for a while too. But when you're that age, when you're a young man and you're dealing with people in their 80s, it's such a mystery. Like what is it like to be old? I had a good relationship with my grandmother. She was great. She's a huge inspiration. I say my grandmother and my first stepdad, great inspirations for life and just how you deal with people.
Why is that?
She was really great at. She was like no nonsense. She came to the States in 1950. She used to design. Oh, sorry. She used to design and manufacture clothes.
Oh, wow.
Wool clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And she was a big hit in the States. She would be on TV and radio and newspapers. They'd do interviews with her, and she toured around the country with her looms. She made these like big wool looms. And then my stepdad, first stepdad Steve, he was a fashion photographer, and he was my first sort of like comedic inspiration. Like this, like, oh my God, a grown man can be funny and silly. This is amazing, And I felt very free around him. So it was a good inspiration. He kind of lives in my head when I was like think about the whole journey to opening this club.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then, so how did you get into comedy? What was like you said you did it in your 20s, so you must have did a little bit, you said in Sweden.
Yeah.
And then how did you get into it again back in the States?
When I was living in Colorado, small town, Durango, Colorado, there was open mics. It was a very small town, small student town. They had open mics once a month at this theater, the Animus Theater. And it was kind of a big deal, and I'd go and watch, and I'd see comedians, and I'd sort of think to myself, I could do better than that. And then I think I sat at home and I wrote a little bit, and I think I lifted a line from Richard Pryor, one of Richard Pryor's intro, because he gets up on stage and he's like looking around, and he's like, I want to do good, and it's something like maybe I'm butchering it now. I want to do good. You want to see me do good, and that was like, let's just get along together. So yeah, then I just kept doing it, and I was getting booked. Suddenly, I was getting booked. The owner of the theater was like, liked me and wanted to, and then I was opening for, I think I opened for, what's his name, Eric Griffin, the guy from Workaholics. He came through, and just kept doing it for a few years, and then decided, as a fresh-faced 40-year-old, I'm going to move to New York City. And then I moved to New York 2010, and was just basically living the life of a 20-year-old. I was just going back to, because everybody I worked with was like, early 20s.
Yeah.
So just surrounding myself with young people and just basically, I don't know, tricking myself that I'm just going to live like they're living. And then
I bet that was so fun.
It was pretty fun. Waiting tables, bartending, doing mics, doing shows. I was very humble. I mean, these kids that had been doing mics for a year are like producing shows, doing shows. I was like, who would ask me if I wanted to do a show? Really, me? You want me on your show? But yeah, so I've taken my time, definitely, and then just been doing it for so many years, with the 6-year break. But yeah, now I'm at the club, just hosting pretty much 2, sometimes 3 times a day.
Wow. So you're really getting some reps in now as well. That's good.
Yeah.
What's your, seeing as you've been in the industry for such a long time, like what are some tips that you would give people that are trying to figure it all out? And you said, before, slow down, which I personally, that has been one of the greatest realizations for me, that changed the game for me and just the way that I perform.
Yeah.
Something clicked a few months back where I was like, if I just say this slower, then it comes out better.
Definitely.
And I just look more and feel more comfortable.
Yes.
And I think I actually learned that from doing this podcast.
Nice.
Because I listen to every episode that I do before I publish. And the earlier episodes, I noticed that when I was talking faster, I would mumble my words and just, stuff my words up. And I would always do that. I'm a clumsy talker.
Yeah.
But if I talk slower and more deliberately, then it just comes out better and smoother, and I articulate myself better. And that then translates on stage now, and I feel like for me, it's helped me immensely.
Yes. Yes. And you know as well, like now we're doing the podcast, we're not touching the mic. I was talking to a comic about this yesterday, and he's trying a new thing where he's like, he leaves the mic in the stand.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't touch it. He just has his hands out like this. And it, because if you have the mic set so that then your posture is up, and it just changes how you speak. I feel like if you're holding the mic, you can kind of crouch down, or you kind of shrink a little bit, or you're leaning on the mic stand, or you're playing with the mic stand. I'm very strict with people, like, just leave the fucking mic stand.
Yeah.
Just put the mic stand behind you and leave it alone.
Yeah, I saw a woman the other day. She uses the mic stand, but her whole set, she just kept on adjusting it, adjusting while she's talking, and it was so distracting.
Yeah.
It was so distracting. I was like, all I could think of was stop doing that. I can't even think about what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
So distracting.
Exactly.
I've been using the mic stand lately. I haven't been doing it for shows, but for mics, every second mic, I'm just keep it in the mic stand.
Yeah.
And I love it.
It's great, right?
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's different. You
Yeah.
feel different.
You
It makes me feel calmer. I don't know why. Why do you think that is psychologically?
I think it's something with the posture. It's more, you feel more empowered. You feel like more like an orator, like Obama. But we were just playing around with it after the mic, because I got the mic stand by the host chair, and we were just experimenting with it. And it's true. It just does something with your posture, and it's sort of like you set the height and then you leave it alone.
Yeah.
You stay at that height, and you can tilt the mic stand as you like if you're talking a different, but then just none of this fiddling shit. Which I tell people all the time. I give them notes afterwards. I'm getting better at that, because just being gentle and just like, hey, can I give you some notes? Just with the mic stand, just put it to the side, and just leave it alone. You know, it's like you're not abandoning the mic stand. You're just gonna you say, all right, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm putting you over here, and I'm gonna do my thing over here. You got my back, but I'm not forgetting about you. I'm over here doing my thing, and then when I'm done, I'm gonna put it back. I'm gonna put this mic stand. Then your job will be to hold the mic. Other than that, you know, we're not gonna play this thing with the clip, the constant. Like I joke around with people, it's not a life preserver. It's not mommy or daddy's leg that you're clutching onto. it's not a stick shift or a pump. Like, where are the jokes? I know they're in here somewhere. Where are they? You know, it's just it's like you said, it's so fucking distracting. And now you're not
awful.
listening to what this person's saying. All you're thinking about is like, would you fucking leave that mic stand alone?
Yeah. Jonesy, I'm gonna just move you forward a little bit more.
Over here.
Perfect.
Nice.
There we go. I think it's you gotta do what allows people to read you and listen to you the most clearly.
Yeah.
And just not be
no distractions.
Yeah. So what else do you think? What are other things that you've picked up that comics are doing, or bad habits that people should shake?
Obviously, if it's a mic, you know, you want to bring your notes up, but ideally, you have your notebook, you're writing, and you as you're writing it long form in your notebook, you're memorizing, you're saying it out loud to yourself, so that you can train your brain to go up on stage and just be present in the room. Just keep eye contact, keep yourself, because when you break and look down at your notebook on the stool, now you sort of, we don't do that in conversation. So why are you doing it on a show? Just be present. Like, you must have some bookmarks in your head that you can just access.
Yeah.
And
I think for shows, and I've felt like this pretty strongly about this since I've started, after witnessing it a few times. I think if you're doing a show, if someone's put you on their show, you shouldn't be taking notes. You should do the right thing and learn your material and respect the person that's put you on a show.
Yeah.
If you can. I mean, have a backup palm card there just in your back pocket, just in case you freeze, of course, with just a couple of key words.
Yeah.
You know,
something hidden in your hand.
Yeah.
That's not gonna like pull you down to look and scroll. Like, what else was I working on?
Yeah.
What else?
I think if you're doing a show, it's also a good reason just to learn your material. Okay, I've got a show, I've got a deadline. All right, I'm 3 nights out. I'm gonna run this set 10 times a night just at home for the next 3 nights. On my show night, I'm gonna be fine. Yeah. It gives you a reason to put it in the noggin. And once it's in, you never forget it.
Right.
Well, for now, anyway.
Right.
I don't know. We'll see what happens in a few years.
Nerves can get in the way, but it's sort of that relying, because it becomes a binky or a safety blanket, or just like, But oftentimes it will happen when you're doing a mic and you forget to bring your notes on stage. You've got your little notebook and you get called on, and you leave it on your seat and you forget to bring it up on stage. And you can either be like, oh, fuck, I forgot my notes. Cam, can you hand me my notes? Or you can just be like, you know what? Fuck it. Yeah. I'm just going to fucking try to remember what I was going to say. And then that's very freeing once you figure out, like, I think I can trust myself to fucking remember 5 minutes of material, you know? And if I don't, maybe I'll riff off the previous comics, or, you know, just something that's going on in the room, just to keep it going, keep it conversational, keep it natural flowing. Because we want, you know, it's like the illusion of like, I just thought about this, you know? And not the sort of like, what else was I working on? What else was I wanting to try? You know, it's like, okay, now you're taking us out of the show. Yeah, you're not present with us right now. Yeah. So just, you know, keep up the facade of like, I got this. I used to do this thing. This was years ago. I used to, if I spaced on my material, I would just stand and kind of look at the audience and give them the impression that this was part of the act. Being a weirdo, just holding the silence. instead of being, shit, what else? Because nobody wants to fucking hear that. And then another huge thing that I always think, announcing a segue is never funny. Impossible to be funny, to announce a segue. We don't do that in conversation. If I'm talking to you and be like, talking about, I don't know, delivery guys on their scooters and be like, switching gears, Cam, I'd like to talk to you about baseball. What's going on with the Mets, man? The preseason. It's like, no, you just talk about bukkake and then you talk about like, I don't know.
Well, I had a mentor say that to me once. We were talking about how you get into the next bit, and he's a total pro, and he goes, you don't have to do anything. Just the bit can stop, and then you just start, and it doesn't have to. Doesn't have to be any. They don't have to have anything in common.
Exactly.
It's completely fine.
Exactly.
And after that, I was like, okay, cool, yeah. So
that's always funny. That's always going to be funny if you just do an unannounced left turn.
It is, especially when it contradicts something that you've already said.
Right.
Like if you're talking about what a degenerate you are, and like I had all these cocaine addictions, and God, all these women used to reject me. Yeah, so I'm married, and and it's funny, and then you can sometimes just get the laugh straight off.
So I've been married for 4 years.
Yeah.
That's exactly. That will always be funny. It will never be funny if you say you have a coke, and then you're just like, well, switching gears. I should tell you guys, right? No. Imagine doing that in conversation. Be like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
bro?
you're so right.
Just speak.
You're so right. I don't. When the way that you're putting it into, you wouldn't put it in a conversation.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting way to view it, and you're right. Because that is the way that it has to feel. It has to feel like a conversation,
right? Because I feel like people, when they do that, it's like they're in their head. They're shooting a movie, and it's like, all right, cut, and then we're gonna reset for this next scene, and we're gonna block it out, and like, all right, action. And it's like, no, it just flows. There's no, that's what comedy is. We had this one kid, he went up and he started his set. And it was like a selection mic, like an audition mic for the showcase. And he starts his set and he's kind of flubbing his lines. And then he looks over and he's like, Jonesy, can we start over? Can I just start from the top? And I was sort of thinking, all right, but what are we gonna do? Men in Black, everybody, in the room, like they've heard the jokes. Now you're gonna do it again and expect to laugh. That's not how it works. Not how it works.
Poor kid.
Ideally, you should just get off the stage and then we'll bring you up right at the end.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah.
We had a laugh about it after the show, and it was like how ridiculous that was. Yeah.
Any other advice for people, Jonesy?
I know these kids in their mid-20s, and they're grinding, they're hustling, they're producing, they're just getting the reps in. But it takes time. It's like they're not handing out black belts after 2 weeks. It takes time to build up this massive catalog of material and just getting the reps in, just every day, 2-3 times, just get up, just keep doing it, just, and just, it sounds lame, but just enjoy the journey. This is not, if you're in it for the fast results, bro, it just takes time. You've got to put in the hours, the days, the weeks, the months, the years to get where you want to go, and it's that feeling of accomplishment will only come if you realize that it does take time and effort to make. This is not TikTok. It's not like insta success.
You're not going to go viral and then all of a sudden be a good comedian.
No, it's like with anything. If you were a I went to school for furniture design. That takes years to get really good at, to become a master. It doesn't happen overnight. It's and you just got to accept that. And I know, like I said, with these young kids in their 20s, they want to set the fucking world on fire today. it just takes time.
Yeah.
And there's one kid that he's come around a couple times. He's 16.
Wow.
He started 2 years ago. He started as a 14-year-old.
Is that Raphael?
Yes, Raphael.
Yeah. He's funny.
He's funny because he doesn't either. He's in fucking high school, right?
Yeah.
Like, bro, how do you relate to your classmates?
He's got a thick skin, that kid. Because he'll go up. I see him at the comic strip. He'll go up, do 5 minutes and not get one laugh.
Right.
But he just keeps coming back.
That's what I tell him, like, do not give up.
Yeah.
Do not give up. Raphael, just keep at it. Keep fucking doing it.
He will. It's just that his sense of humor is so different to our sense of humor. I bet you if he was doing that in front of his class, he would get laughs.
Yeah.
I guarantee you.
Right.
It's just a little off at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is totally understandable.
Exactly.
He's a child.
Yeah.
He has so little life experience.
So much respect for him.
Yeah. I don't think he has. I think he said he hasn't even told his classmates that he does stand up.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Wow. But dude, I'm just like, bro, just keep at it.
Yeah. Has he brought his stepmom?
He brought his grandma one time, but she didn't actually come to the mic. She came right after. And I was like, bro, I can still remember being 16 and hanging out with my grandmother. And she's like, can I come see it? And I was like, I'll be absolutely not. You are not allowed in this room. But that's, I mean, for me, dealing with young people, I remember I still dress like I'm 16. But it's like relating and connecting with young people is the best. It's like that's what I learned from my grandmother. You just stay interested. You stay curious. Curiosity is the opposite of judgment. Just stay curious and interested, and you ask questions, and you find something to relate to, and then the age gap just dissipates. You're just two comedians talking.
Yeah,
and it's the best. All these people that like. Want to reminisce about, New York in the 90s was the best. You guys don't even know. And I go, shut up. Nobody wants to hear that. Like, how are you connecting with somebody with that attitude? New York's dead. No, you're just not getting invited to the parties anymore because you're boring. So yeah, it's just about connections. I try to like, it sounds hippy dippy, but I talk about frequencies.
No, it's not hippie.
You just, like the music I play in the club, I want it to sort of, everything's dialed in to sort of hit you in a certain way, and the lights, and, people were in there like, we should do mushrooms in here. I was like, you totally could.
Yeah.
Yeah. People have.
Yeah.
People have hung out there on mushrooms. Like, this is nice.
Yeah. We did some mushrooms on the weekend.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really nice.
It's great. It's such a great reset.
It was it was very cleansing.
Yeah.
Very cleansing.
You find that way, like if you're stressing about shit and you're like, what the fuck was I worried about?
Yeah.
Your shoulders just drop. And
yeah.
It's going to be all right. You know what? How is anything going to improve by worrying or stressing or...
It doesn't. I felt so much love as well, to my friends.
Mm-hmm.
These guys that I've only known since June. I've only been here since June.
Wow.
But I was like, felt so much love for my friends. I had multiple tears in my eyes, many moments of the night, and it was just beautiful. I'm so glad that I came here.
Yeah,
I really am.
Isn't it the best?
It's the best. I love this city.
Where would you go after this? I mean, if you had to go anywhere.
I think this is it for me.
Yeah.
I really don't think I'm gonna leave.
Right.
Or I would. At the very least, I would split my time here between here and somewhere else.
Yeah.
Maybe somewhere with a wave.
Yeah, like San Francisco.
Yeah.
I lived there for a year. That was 2002 to 3.
Yeah.
Golden.
Or Mexico.
Yeah. Yeah. Golden.
But yeah, this city is insane. I love it.
Yeah. It's the first time I came was 1984.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, 14, into graffiti, breakdancing, just the whole street hustler vibe. I was enamored. I was, this is amazing. Everything but the AIDS and the crack was cool. But man, what a vibe. What a everyone was how I remember everyone was just like quick-witted. Everyone had quick comebacks on the street. Everyone was a fucking comedian and just loud, brash, proud to be a New Yorker. I loved it.
Yeah, there's something different here, isn't there?
Yeah.
There really is. Like, I was in a taxi with my wife a few days ago, and there was just this woman she was waiting at the bus stop, and she was just dancing. She's just dancing on the street, this young black lady.
Yeah.
And I just thought, You don't see that at home. People are too worried. You know, it's like the European, the British.
God.
People are too worried what people are going to think.
And Swedes, holy shit.
Are they the same?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just like the arts and the way people express themselves in America is pretty profound.
Yeah.
They kind of have really set a culture like nothing else.
I mean, stand-up comedy, what's more American than stand-up comedy? I mean, maybe school shootings, but
Yeah.
stand-up comedy is so American, you know?
Yeah.
It's like we're in the mecca of this art form. And it's funny what you said when you say, yeah, see this black lady dancing. Because you know, if it was a white chick dancing, you'd be like, cringe. What are you trying to be? Soulful? Sit down.
What are you on, drugs?
Yeah, right? It's funny how we have those double standards. Like, you're cool, but you're embarrassing us. You're embarrassing yourself. Sit down. Yeah.
So would you do another comedy club? Would you do it again?
Oh yeah. No, I think everything.
Because what I will say is when you do renovations and you do building projects like that, you always think to yourself, all right, I know how to do it now. The next one I will do it even better.
Yes, I think one thing I'm always, I'm such a fucking perfectionist. I'm always looking at the floor and I'm thinking, I should have put like a top coat sealant, like epoxy thing. But
you still could.
I still could.
Just shut it down for a couple of days.
Exactly. Maybe next February or something when it's like fucking dead. But yeah, that's just me being like OCD perfectionist. But then when the lights are down, you don't see that shit.
Yeah.
You see the understage light that kind of like lights up the floor. Like looks like lava. I love it. I love the way that turned out.
Yeah.
In pictures, it just looks like it's on fire. Love that. And just the sound. I'm always up in the booth, like, it's like the stage mic's at 28 decibels. The gob mic is at 40, and all the lights just multiple colors, but like just compressed to like a soft white, and it's just
You really had a vision.
Yeah. It's so fun. To wake up and be like, it's funny because I only hang out with comedians. I rarely hang out with just regular people. So I've yet to be asked, what do you do? Because I can't wait to be like, I own a comedy club. But it's yet to happen. I haven't hung out with any sort of regular people.
You've got to get in some different circles.
Yeah, walk around in because I used to wear a suit in New York, and you get treated differently if you dress like this. Nobody thinks anything. If you wear a suit, people are like, what do you do? Gives it this like illusion of success, which is such a funny thing.
Yeah.
Status.
So what did you think of the whole election period here in New York?
I thought it was hilarious in terms of, we're doing a podcast right now, and the fact that Trump was on Rogan's podcast, he was on Theo Vaughn's podcast.
He hustled. He's a smart man.
Yeah.
They're not dumb.
And Kamala did not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She could have. She got offered to go on Joe Rogan, but she didn't. She turned it down.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. The fact that we live in New York, Gotham.
Where did Gotham come from? What is that?
I'm not exactly sure of the origin of that. Actually, I should really
probably from the is it from the Marvel?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where if they made it up,
right?
Like DC Comics or whatever. But it really is. With Trump, he is such a comic book villain. He's such a cartoon character. With just how everything he does is it's so ridiculous. I don't do a Trump impression, but there's a lot of people that do great ones.
I like him.
Yeah,
I'm a bit of a fan.
Yeah.
I don't have a dog in the fight because I'm not from here, so I just like people that are a bit more. I just think if it was him or Kamala, I would have picked him any day because he seems a lot more real. Like you know what you're gonna get,
right?
Whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Whereas Kamala, I was just like, who is she? It felt like she wasn't ever herself. Like she was just like with comedy, when you get up and you see someone at a show and it just feels like they're just reading a script. Like they feel tight and they're reading a script and you're like, I don't even know who you are. I don't even know if I believe any of this.
Right.
That's kind of how I felt with her.
Yeah. I feel like I talked to a couple black comics about this, about how white comics in certain rooms will kind of black up their voices, or like, kind of like Joe. Yes, it's like I love watching it. My favorite shit is watching Delusions of Grandeur, and I get it. People are trying to relate and connect, but it's just, to me, it's hilarious when it's just
God complex.
Well, I don't know what it is, but it's something to observe. It's so fun. I want somebody to do a skit with sort of a white dude that blacks up his voice when he's hanging out with black people, and just how I remember. Did you know that the sneaker store Flight Club? I think it's on Broadway near Union Square. And I was looking at shoes. I'm not gonna buy $1,200 sneakers, but I'm just like, I like to look at sneaker designs. And I just hear this voice behind me, and it's like, sounds kind of black, but not really. And I turn around, and this is this 20-something white kid talking to a black dude, and just like trying to sound really hood. And it's like, what is going on? I mean, blackface is a big no-no, but black voice is apparently okay. It's amazing.
That's funny.
Yeah, it just tickles me. I'm just like, oh yes, keep going.
What was the origin of blackface?
I think making a mockery of black people, denigrating them with sort of ridiculous stereotypes,
right?
And the sort of submissive, servile, not a good look, especially when people in power are doing it.
Yeah, I saw the there's the picture
Macron.
of Justin Trudeau.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, Trudeau. Yeah. And then it's funny because Kamala she kind of changes her voice depending who she's talking to.
Yeah, I think she's fake.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
Fake news.
And
is Sweden like pretty neutral? Are they're in the UN, the EU?
Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah.
But then United, are they United Nations?
UN. God, I know people that worked at the UN. It's such a it's just bullshit.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, I think they recently joined NATO.
NATO, that's the one. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've been a little out of touch with what's going on in Sweden. But there's a lot of gang violence over there now.
Right.
Yeah.
I've been actually trying to not watch any news, and it's hard because I know with comedy you've got to talk about current events.
Yeah.
But I just found that I've been happier since I don't listen to anything, and the recorder cut out. I just don't know when, Jonesy. I would figure it out.
All good.
We're going to do plenty more, so it's all good.
Yeah. Never ending. That's another thing with comedians. Some people are very protective of their material. They want to hang out with other comedians because they think they're going to steal their material. It's like, bro, there's a never-ending source.
Yeah.
It's not like you struck gold. There's like this one little seam of gold. Like, I'm all out of jokes. No, it's just never-ending.
It does, especially I think if you can look inside and begin to tell stories about your life,
right?
Because we've all got a million of those.
Exactly. That's the thing about being a little bit older. It's like the more age, the more stories. And that's what Raphael's gonna find out. As he just progresses.
He's gonna be so good, that kid. Yeah. Imagine starting at that age. If he keeps going.
Yeah.
Because I truly believe everyone can make it. Everyone.
Yeah. Just persevere.
You just got to keep going. Everyone will have their moment at some point.
Yeah.
Like once you find your voice in anything that you do, you're going to become great at it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's like some exceptions to the rule.
Of course.
There's people I'm like, this person is just spinning their wheels.
But they're probably people that weren't meant to do it in the first place.
Right. And they're just stubborn. They're just stubborn.
Yeah. I think, or they're just not meant to do it professionally.
Yeah.
Anyone can do it as a hobby.
You could be a Walmart greeter.
That's right.
Yeah.
That would be a fun job.
Hi, welcome to Walmart. I served in 2 world wars. Welcome to Walmart.
Welcome to Walmart.
That's how we treat our veterans.
They don't treat the veterans really good in this country, do they?
No, it's if you're gonna sign up, you should either be of that caliber where you can be a Navy SEAL or a Green Beret and sort of be the master of your destiny, not just sign up and be cannon fodder and then lose limbs and like see ya.
Yeah. Were you familiar with like what they were doing in Iraq with the burn pits? How people were getting cancers from the burns.
Right, because there's fires going all the time, burning trash.
Burning toxic stuff.
Yeah.
And it took like years and years until any of these guys even got compensation for that. I mean, it's so sad.
Yeah.
It's so sad that you can treat people like that.
Yeah, they'll do anything to save a buck. Yeah.
I think if you've served in the military, you should get free healthcare for life.
Yeah.
I mean, that should just be a given.
Yeah. The fact that we have homeless veterans is insane. You know, there seems to be any kind of safety net for these guys. A lot of obstacles to get what they are entitled to.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't believe what the recruiters tell you, kids.
Yeah.
You know, be careful.
Yeah, it's rough. Well, Jonesy, it's been a pleasure getting you on. I'm really glad.
This is great.
Got to know you. Let's do this again.
Definitely, I'd love to. Man.
Do you want to plug your business, plug your Instagram, plug everything?
Yeah. So the Fear City Comedy Club. The fear. There's nothing to fear. but fear itself. The Fear City Comedy Club, 17 Essex, between Hester and Canal. Open every day. You know, we do mics at 4 every day, so I usually get there at 3-ish. And then building shows. We've got a show tonight. We've got the Riff Riders show tonight. It's crowd work, riffing, new jokes. That's going to be happening every Wednesday at 8. Then we got a new show starting this Friday called Big Stuff Comedy with Patrick Haggerty. It's also going to be a weekly thing, Fridays at 8. Then we got these showcases that happen on Fridays and Saturdays. And then just filling the week with shows every week. And just trying to gain presence on the comedy scene, But yeah, the Instagram is the Fear City Comedy Club. Same, on all social media platforms is the Fear City Comedy Club. But I'm really just on Instagram, and it's me. I am the club. So if you're messaging the club, it's not like, hey guys, or hey team, hey Fear City. No, it's just me. It's just me. Let me just finish cleaning the bathroom floor, and I'll respond to your messages. So yeah, guys, no messages about open mics. Just read the flyer. If you can't read, then that's a filter for me to be like, all right, you're not worth my time. No, I'm a nice guy. But the Fear City Comedy Club it's everything I think a comedy club should be. All focus on the performance. There's no distractions, no drink minimums, no staff that are gonna hassle you for anything. You're gonna sit and you're gonna enjoy the comedy show. And then the shows are about an hour long, an hour 15 maybe. That's the idea is like leave the audience wanting more. Do not punish them with a 2.5-hour bringer show.
God. I did one of those last night.
You did. Imagine that as an audience member. Imagine that's your first experience of a comedy show. Like, I hate this art form. I never want to see comedy again. So I want to like entice people to come back and like, this was so fun, and hang out and I feel like they're not being tortured, not being held hostage.
Oh well, I'm glad you're doing it, Jonesy.
Yeah,
and I'm glad that you've pulled this rabbit out of a hat, as I said. Like, congratulations.
Thanks,
to really. It takes a lot. I've done a fair bit of renovating in my life, and I've been in construction, and putting all these things together is not an easy job.
No.
It takes a lot of time and dedication.
Yeah.
And you've got a great product. You've got a great club. The boys love it.
Yes.
I've no doubt you're going to be successful and just continue to grow. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, Cam.
Anytime.
This was so fun. We'll do it again, right?
100%. 100%.
Nice.
See you on the next one, guys.
All right.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to this episode of Going After It with Cam Bird. Produced by Cam Bird. Podcast edited by Calpit. Music by Brian Rigby. If you've enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe. And if you can, get after it.